I'd like to take a moment to thank my channel members for your continued support. Thank you, and consider joining today for added perks and exclusive content. Hello and welcome, I'm Bert the Stormtrooper, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Kickback, and I'm really excited about this toy. Released in April of 2022, this is brand new and starting to hit store shelves right now as of the time of this recording. It is a deluxe class figure, and it retails for approximately $20. So here we have the new or current, as of the time of this recording, Legacy package or boxwork here. We've got that open window. A lot of people have things to say about the open window. I really don't care one way or the other, but it's a windowless package, and I mean, it's got a window, it's just there's nothing there, right? So you can actually touch the figure. So, you know, just keep an eye out when you're buying these. Make sure you take a look down there, and I don't know if it'll show up on camera or not, but just make sure you take a peek down there, make sure that all the weapons are still there and whatnot before you make your purchase, right? But you can see the figure right there in his robot mode, and then we've got some really cool artwork of the figure in his insect mode right there. Kickback, Transformers Legacy logo. On the side, we got some artwork of Kickback in robot mode, and then a close-up of that robot head. On this side, we got a little bit more splash work right there. We've got that half of that splash work, right? If you remember when we did Skids, you could see the other half of that was Prime and some of the Autobots. Here we've got Megatron and a couple of the Decepticons right there. And then along the back, we've got a product shot of Kickback, both in his robot and in his beast mode. 14 steps to transformation, a little bit of tech spec right there, and your QR code. If you scan that, you can get some bio on him. That is about it for the packaging. Let's get this guy opened up and check it out. Included in the packaging, you get the Kickback figure, his handgun, 2 of these energy weapons. These could be swords, these could be wings. We'll look more at that in the review itself. And you get a sheet of instructions. And here we have Kickback out of the package and in his insect mode, and I love this toy. Once again, Hasbro has knocked it out of the park, giving us a modern interpretation of the G1 figure. This guy is absolutely fantastic right down to his transformation. So Kickback here in insect mode is approximately 6.5 inches long, about 2 inches tall at the tallest parts here. So if we go to the back of the legs and the antenna maybe, but then of course, you know, depending on how you want to pose the wings, it's how tall he's really going to get. But yeah, very, very nice, just kind of going all the way around. Is it a perfect grasshopper? No. Is he supposed to be? No. He's supposed to be a robotic grasshopper. Originally, if you follow the Diaclone line that these figures originally came from, this was a mechanical grasshopper that was actually piloted. That's why there's a cockpit right here. So yeah, he looks exactly like he's supposed to look, right? So going all the way around, he's done mostly in black with some purple and yellow or gold highlights. A little bit of touches of red here and there. Decepticon insignia right there on the back. And just kind of going all the way around. Really, the only thing that I miss from the G1 figure to this one is the wheels. The original one had wheels. You could actually roll them in this mode. You can't roll this one, but that's okay. He looks beautiful. I love this figure a lot more than I thought I was going to. Articulation-wise, you're not going to get a whole lot of articulation on this one. The head can kind of move because it's on a ball joint. It is a robot head, but because of the way it's supposed to be hiding the face, it doesn't really seem like it moves all that well. The arms can move. You can actually kind of separate these a little bit. You can open them up wider. You can bring them in closer if you'd like. Really just for posing more than anything else. You can also kind of bring them in and out. But again, as for posing, as far as like action poses, it's not really accomplishing much. Same thing with the legs. You can move the legs up and down a little bit, in and out, that kind of a thing. But I mean, really, this static pose here is really kind of the best you're going to get when it comes to the grasshopper mode right there. And you can just kind of, you know, play with them along. And I mean, even that looks really good right there. Pretty cool right there. Now, you can integrate the weapons into this mode. So we'll go ahead and bring in his energon or energy swords or wings or whatever you want to call these, and then also his weapon. So you can actually store all of these in his, I was going to say vehicle mode, let's call it just the alternate mode or his set mode. There is a, move that up, there is a port underneath the insect mode right there, and this is nice because of the way that this transforms to do the head cover. It actually leaves this opening right here, so the little drum on the weapon can actually go in there And there you go. You got yourself a little attack mode right there. And then for the wings, this is cool. So let me show you first what the instructions show you to do. And then I'll show you my preferred version, which I think was the intended version, and they just kind of forgot to put them in. But if you look at these wings, they have tabs. If you look at the inner part right there, there's tab and a tab, a tab and a tab. If you look at the outside of the wings have slots all along the top of the wing right here. So you can take these and you can tab them into the wing, and you can go a little further back if you want. You can move them forward, wherever you want to put these, really. And those are going to tab in right there. So they kind of form like bigger wings for them, like that. So, and that's not a bad look, I must say. I don't really care for it personally all that much, but it's not bad. I think it might look better if move them back a little bit. Let's try tabbing them back here instead. And the reason for that is, as I'm looking at it through the camera, I see this thing sticking out. I think if we move them back a little bit, make the wings a little longer, it might make it look a little better. So let's do that. So you got a couple of options here, right? And that's pretty neat. That doesn't look too terrible. Now, let me show you what they don't show you in the instructions, which I think was meant to be the way to do this. And they just kind of didn't put it in. So you can actually tab these together. Now, they're not going to tab in perfectly because of the pegs right there. You see that? But there are holes in the front and in the back. So that peg sits in the middle of these two holes right here. So you can go either way about this, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to take a peg and put it into the top hole, and then the middle peg, put it into the bottom hole. And again, it doesn't matter which way you go. You can do it either way. So tab them in that way. Now, if you look at the bottom of the grasshopper right here, you can see a port right down there. And of course, it's offset with the back, what would be his groin right there, right? So that actually allows this to fit perfectly this way. And if you look at, it's going to be hard to show, but if you look at, there's a little tab right there, a slot that's kind of like on I'm having a hard time getting this to focus. Let me see if I can get this to focus a little better. I'm working with a new camera here, folks. Bear with me. All right, so you see the little square peg right here with a slot in the middle? Okay, so if you look at the figure again, there's a little square slot right there that's going to fit that square perfectly. So that little square is going to fit on that slot, and then, of course, this handle is going to go into this port right there. I do believe that is intentional. Let's get that all the way in there. There you go. It actually slots all the way in, and it's very secure, right? And then we can bring the legs back in together. And as you can see now, it actually forms a thorax, if you will, for the grasshopper. I do believe that was the intended way of doing that, and they just maybe forgot to put it in the instructions possibly. But there you go. Really, really neat, and all the weapons are incorporated well into the alt mode. Absolutely love it. This is really, really well done. A couple of comparisons. Here he is with a couple of other deluxe class figures from the Legacy, just so you can it's kind of hard to compare a robotic insect to a vehicle, but that's what we got. So here he is with Deluxe Class Skid, so you can see how the two of them look like together. They are both deluxes, so you can see how that looks together. And of course, here he is with his Wavemate drag strip, so you can see what the two of them look like together. And again, pretty comparable in size. And for fun, here he is with the original G1 Kickback. So you can see how the two of these guys look like together, and how cool does that look, just having these two guys side by side. Absolutely awesome. I mentioned that the original ones had these little cockpits right here because they were Diaclone figures, so there was a little pilot that would go in there. They actually went through the trouble of putting a pin here. This actually looks like a cockpit that would open. It doesn't. I've checked. Several of other reviewers have checked. We have not figured out a way that this opens. I think that's just a pin that was put there. It's a separate piece. It's a translucent piece with a silver backing. It was put in there and then pinned in. And it just really kind of shows the attention to detail to really call back to those original G1 figures. And I think it's really, really well done. So there you go. There's the two of them so you can see what they look like together. Transformation for Kickback is, well, if you know the G1 figure, you know how to transform this guy. It's pretty much the same thing, just a couple of added steps. Now, I did have this wrong. I did have his feet sticking out. These should be down like that, so I needed to mention that. since I did have pretty much the feet sticking out the entire time I was doing the insect mode. That's on me. But there's a proper insect mode now. And yeah, proper is, I considered it proper with the thorax right there. So that's kind of my preferred way. That's how I'm going to display it. But anyway, transformation again. Let's start by removing all his weapons. So go ahead and pull these out. Pull those out and separate them. And there you go. Set those off to the side. And then pull the gun out of his chest. Let's take a quick look at this gun. It's, I think well, this gun is done in black. And then it's painted in silver in some spots. And then it's painted purple in other spots. I love that they added this drum right here, which is exactly what the G1 Figures gun had. Absolutely awesome. Anyway, take all of those off and set them off to the side. And you're left with this, which still looks great. Okay, let's take these wings and just move them straight up. Get them out of the way. Come back here. This little panel back here that I showed you that was covering up the face, you can just kind of get in there, pull that down, flip it down, and there's his head. Move the head around, and then you can position the antenna any way you want. Move that up a little bit. So we're going to take the little grasshopper feet right here. These are on ball joints. You're going to turn these around, bring them down, and then push this all the way in like that. And then finally go ahead and bring out the robot legs, or robot feet rather. So again, the little grasshopper foot, turn it around, tuck it in, tuck this whole thing into the back of the leg, and then bring the robot foot out. Out for robot mode, in for grasshopper mode. I know, I'm sure I'm going to get comments anyway. Okay. The little claw back here, going to spin this around. That's going to reveal the fist, and then we're just going to close the arms up like that. Bring the arms down. Rotate the fist out. Straighten out the arm, join the two insect arms together, and there we've got Kickback in his robot mode. And in the way that I have him here right now, he's approximately 5.5 inches at the top of the head or antenna here, 7.5 if you go to the top of the wings, the way that I have him here. Now, I know that he's usually, like my G1 figure, I usually display it with the wings down like that, and that's really more of both an aesthetics and a space saving kind of a thing. Because that way you can see the figures. I can put a little bit of a bigger figure behind them and you can see who it is. This just kind of gets in the way or in the view of whatever's behind them. But classically or generally or historically, Kickback usually has his wings up like that. So you can position them straight up or angle them back a little bit, put them down like I do. It's completely up to you. For the purposes of the review, I'm just going to have them this way. And yeah, that's just the way we're going to handle him. But bringing him in close so you can see what he looks like. He looks absolutely fantastic. Take a look at that head. That is G1 Kickback all the way through. Absolutely fantastic. Figure is done mostly in black with some gold, silver, and red highlights. And, of course, some purple arms and the feet right there. Looking absolutely fantastic, going all the way around. Solid figure, not a whole lot of hollow spots to speak of. It seems like the Transformer figures are really getting better about that. We were getting all those hollow spots and waffly bits on figures, and they're getting much better now. What is going on with my lighting? I don't know. This new camera has been a pain in the butt to figure out. But anyway, hopefully that looks good for you guys. Let me know if it doesn't. But yeah, no, I feel like Transformers have been getting a lot better about the really just egregious and obvious hollow waffly bits. They've done a lot better job of putting them away. They're still there. There's still some, you know, if you want to get really nitpicky about it, some of them are still there, but they're in places that really don't bother. I mean, the other ones weren't bothering me all that much anyway either. They're on the back of the figure. I mean, do you display your figures like this, facing your wall? Because I don't. So it's not like the other ones really bothered me all that much. These bothered me even less. So, yeah, I'm not going to complain about those. I am going to point them out, though, because I am reviewing the figure. So I'll point them out, but I'm not complaining about them. Anyway. No, this is a beautiful, again, updated, perfect update to the G1 figure. He looks like he stepped out of the cartoon. This is fantastic. The head is on a ball joint. As you can see, he can, you know, kind of, he can do that. Up and down a little bit, side to side, inquisitive. The antenna can move. The shoulders can move forward and backwards all the way around. They had a little hinge at the top there, so you can rotate them out as well. You can bend at the elbow, nothing at the wrist. Again, no wrist articulation. I was so getting excited about figures with wrist articulation, and then I get two in a row that don't have it. So what are you going to do? You can rotate the wrist, the waist, I mean. Legs can go forward, backwards, in and out, rotate at the thigh, bend at the knee. And we do we? We do. It looks like we have it. Come on. There we are. We have ankle tilts. Oh, man, he's got a solid ankle tilt. He can do the whole two-truck thing like Jean-Claude Van Damme. Look at that. Very, very cool. Love it. Man, these figures are knocking it out of the park for me. I don't know what else to say. These are just so fantastic. Let's do weapons. Let's get some weapons. So, you can store his weapon on his back. If you flip it around. There you go. You can do that if you want to store that. If you want to play with these energy weapons. These energy weapons serve multiple purposes. You can use them as swords. You can use it as a double sword of some sort. That looks deadly and cutty. So you can do that. You can attach them to the wings if you'd like, just like they were in the insect mode. You can do that. You can also, they show you this in the instructions. You can actually also attach them here on the outside of the arms to kind of create some kind of like null rays or blade weapons for him. So you got all kinds of options with these things that you can do. Very, very neat. I really, really dig it. My preferred look, however, is the more classic G1 look. This is what we're going to do for comparisons. So we'll bring that out like that. That's my preferred look, but that's just me. You display any way you'd like. I mean, if you want to display it like that, that's up to you. But anyway, I display mine like this. I am on a lot of cough medicine right now. I don't know if you guys can tell. A couple of comparisons. Here he is with a couple of other legacy figures. Here he is with the Deluxe Class Kids. So you can see what the two of them look like together. I want to bring in the only Voyager we've gotten so far in Legacy, unless you count Blaster, which I don't, because Blaster was from Kingdom. He's a repackage. But anyway, so you can see what the two of them look like together. Really love how like short and stout he looks next to Bulkhead, which really reminds me of the G1 figure because he looks so much shorter than everybody else. So that looks fantastic. Here he is with fellow Decepticon Wavemate drag strip. So you can see what the two of these guys look like together. And then finally, for fun, because he is here he is with G1 Kickback. So you can see what the two of them look like together, and they look awesome together. I think we need I don't know if Skids definitely need stickers. I don't know if this guy needs stickers. I mean, we can maybe use a little red detail on the feet right here, like this guy has. But other than that, I mean, I think he's pretty much on. He's spot on, right? Looks fantastic. I am absolutely loving the Legacy line, and I'm loving it even more because I'm on cough medicine, which makes me just very lovey and talky and chatty, and you guys probably picked all of that up there in this mess of a video. Loving the Legacy line. It is a fantastic line so far. I have not gotten anything from Legacy that I have not liked. Really knocking it out of the park with this new line, and really knocking it out of the park with Kickback. Fantastic figure. I think that about does it for the Transformers Legacy Kickback. What did you think of this figure? Let me know down in the comments. Give me some thumbs up. Subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified when I upload a new video. I've got a donate button up there. I also now offer channel memberships. If you're so inclined to do either one of those, I would be eternally grateful. Please share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time.